The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show would like to acknowledge the traditional land owners and the leaders past, present and emerging of Ngunnawal, Ngambri and Darawal countries where we are working from today. This always was, and always will be, Aboriginal land.
This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
I gave him a spray because he started horrendous with the Atlanta Carolina game, and I had breaking news that I had sacked Mark Downey as the general manager.
I actually kind of feel like celebrating my own success a little bit there.
Aussie.
Give me that trophy soon. Let's go. I'm coming back.
And you know, Manjot, I feel like I should go head-to-head with you in the foreign game.
NFL.
Yeah.
So Manjot's 2-0 when Mark's on the pod. What would happen if Mark did Manjot's team? That's going to set a record.
Fantasy.
He might not know the rules of the segment. Sometimes we do explain it to him, but then
We don't know the rules of the segment sometimes, mate.
This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
And a team that early on looked like it was just going to eat rubber and come last and be in the corner picking its nose with the dunce hat on.
In today's busy world, it's hard to have it all. Who has time to do all the analysis and decision making for your fantasy team? Probably not you, but we can help. Whether it's positively diagnosing players with fantasy leprosy, or helping you find the players who are on the verge of being fantasy legendary. There's only one name in all of fantasy you can really trust. Make an appointment with Dr GoodCall.
Show 2 of the week is here. Of course, Matty C, your host of the show with Manjot. If you didn't catch show 1 of the week, it is the pastry performers. There was an over-under on that, and Manjot hit the over, but you'll have to find out who gets all the pastries by catching that show. And then, of course, Talor here, although he looks suspiciously like somebody else I know. Say, what's going on?
Somebody that I used to know. Dr. GoodCall here, mate. Look, Dr. GoodCall in his fantasy leagues took an absolute bath from Joshua Jacobs. So just showing some absolute love for this guy. But look, had an okay week last week. I had a better week in Dr. GoodCall than I did in starts of the week, as we'll get to later. But
No foreskin.
Yeah, no flappy foreskin. But look,
Circumcise that.
Not the best week for me in general. But look, we move forward and let's try and prescribe some remedies for some people out there struggling.
Yeah, hit me with it, man. Hit me with it. Last week, a really uneven week around the whole league, to be honest. I mean, I think we saw one of those weeks too where some really good teams struggled in fantasy leagues and teams that had been underperforming a little bit just kind of surprisingly had one of their good weeks. How do you think that showed up in Dr. GoodCall from last week, mate? With your, I mean, essentially, you're just trying to help people who are missing guys with injury and bye weeks and saying, have faith in these guys. It's a tough world to live in, mate.
Look, I tried to go the handsome one at quarterback, and he just decided we're just going to score 13 points because we're not going to give up any points. So didn't really need to do much. Just showed off his handsome face and just hoped that everyone just got wet in the stands. That was pretty much it. Didn't really do much. Had the one touchdown, which was lucky to even be a touchdown. Got tipped, and really didn't do too much for your fantasy week. So look, in the end, it was a tough watching Jimmy G. Fought up against the Saints, who were 21st against quarterback. Would have been a little bit better, and I just thought generally having all the pieces around him would have worked in a good fantasy day. But in the end, as a streamer, it wasn't like it didn't destroy your week or anything like that. But it just wasn't great.
That wasn't great, man. I'm going to need you to defend Jimmy G here because I'm sure as hell not going to.
I think we've known that I've not been the biggest Jimmy Garoppolo defender as of recent because
7 days ago you were.
Yeah, okay. 7 days ago, I'm allowed 1 week of Jimmy Garoppolo defending every year. That's it. He's not as good. I think he's just at this point, he might just have to not play against any other team except the Cardinals because the Cardinals are the only team he plays good against. That's it.
That's fair. I'm okay with that. That's the week to start him in starts of the week and Dr. GoodCall Tay. We're going to need to remember that for next year when Trey Lance isn't playing as well.
Wonderful. And I'm just sort of going through my list and I'm realizing I'm probably had a worse week than I actually gave myself credit for. So we'll move on. Jeff Wilson wasn't too bad because he got the touchdown. Had him as the running back up against Houston just because they are just porous against the running back. But again, he just didn't have to do anything. And then he kind of picked up a niggle, so they didn't really use him in the second half. And he sort of just sat on 30-odd yards and a touchdown and, a couple of catches. That was it. Like, he just basically got put on the shelf in the second half. So there was no offense in the second half. Everything he did was in one half. So you got 11 or 12 points out of him in one half of football, which actually sounds fine. But he just didn't do anything. So it kind of felt like it was an average game.
We had such high hopes too. We're like, he could break the universe. And like, I took him first overall in start to the week from Dr. GoodCall, which I try never to do, but now I've broken that rule twice. And I was expecting so much more. So I think in PPR scored like 9.2 and then came off.
He had a 10-piece in the
it was over 10 because he had 38, 39 yards and a touchdown and then a couple of catches. So.
Yeah. He's like a 13, I think he scored. That's what I remember from my content team league this week. It's a bit underwhelmed, but still got the W. So I don't know. Something about my team. I think Dr. GoodCall, if you can prescribe a good week for my team so I don't feel underwhelmed, even though I have the second best quarterback, second best running back, and second best wide receiver on the year. There's got to be something that Dr. GoodCall can do to stop me feeling bad.
It was an underwhelming week in general for Dr. GoodCall. He was 4-5 in his leagues, and the leagues that he wanted to really needed to win in, he didn't get, and the leagues he's sort of just like cruising into the finals already is the one he won in. So, look, I don't know who Dr. GoodCall is, but he just had a little bit of a tough week. So, Dr. GoodCall's back. I'll just hand over to him. All right, let's go to wide receiver from last week, and it was dog shit. Demarcus Robinson up against the Jags. I thought it would have had a great opportunity to have a good game there. I just thought that he was sort of taking over that wide receiver one situation, but in the end, I don't know if the wide receiver one is really all that valuable at the Ravens right now. You're not seeing an awesome passing attack out of Lamar at the moment, and they're just playing a lot of games where they're just not scoring a lot of points. I know they finished with 27 in the end, but it all came quite late, and Lamar's going to do a lot with his legs, so there isn't a huge pie there in general to disperse the wide receivers when your main target is a tight end anyway. So it was just one of those situations where Demarcus Robinson, I think, is just going to be a hard one to pick week to week. He's probably going to have a few good games moving forward, but it's going to be hard to know which week it is.
Hey, it wasn't Lamar's fault though. I want to put that out there. The amount of times his receivers were dropping balls from him, that was just disappointing. He had it's more on the receivers than Lamar, I reckon, in that game. Because Lamar was trying his hardest. You saw that 62-yard bomb to Deshaun Jackson. That was an incredible throw. But then the rest of the throws, his other receivers were literally dropping them stone cold pretty much. They're literally dropping them like meat pies or whatever you want to say. I don't even know what reference I want to use there. But they're just dropping like so hard in that game. It was just disappointing.
Drop it like they're hot?
Yeah, pretty much.
We to imagine a world where Deshaun Jackson is still scoring 50-plus yard touchdowns, though. That's all.
Yeah. I mean,
the fact they even have to rely on Deshaun Jackson is probably an issue for us.
It might tell you a bit, actually.
Yeah, Deshaun Jackson's actually looked like the best deep threat on that team. Their whole team is pretty much undersized deep threats. They don't have a true wide receiver one. And Deshaun Jackson's the best of them. He's like, 35, 36 years old at this point. This dude is actually, oh my gosh, they're relying on him way too much at this point. They need to take a chill pill. I think the Ravens, chill pill. They need to go hard in off season. Sign Lamar, sign a wide receiver. Come on, man. They don't actually have a good wide receiver market this year either. So it's going to be tough.
They had a good wide receiver and they just traded him away.
Yeah, Hollywood wasn't that good. He wasn't the true wide receiver one they needed, I reckon. They needed a wide receiver
50 times better than everyone who's left, though,
Okay, that's true. He's the only good receiver, like only decent receiver Lamar's had. And that's my thing. If Lamar had a true number one wide receiver, he could literally be the best quarterback in the league. No one's going to believe me until they actually see when he has a good wide receiver what happens. So, yeah, they just need to find that wide receiver for Lamar.
Don't we all remember that year he had Des Bryant? Wasn't that great? I'm joking.
That was like, one game, was it, with Des Bryant?
Yeah, one or two.
2 games, and then he got like cut or something. Then he
I think so,
retired.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how it's just been. All they've signed is like wash dudes like Sammy Watkins, Des Bryant, now Deshaun Jackson. Come on, man. That's all he's got. Come on, bro. Lamar's like so talented. You guys just need to
Oh,
give him that
drafted
wide
before
receiver.
2015. Just leave them alone. Just leave them alone.
Yeah,
Put them back in the
exactly.
cupboard. They're
Exactly.
expired.
Exactly.
Well, okay, Tay. I think we've rained on the poor Ravens enough.
Yeah, my bad, Dr. GoodCall. Didn't mean to interrupt you on your
Who would ever
seminar.
think, though, that a team where the main target's the tight end would have nowhere else for the ball to go? I just can't believe there's not a decent wide receiver on that team. But anyway, carrying on.
I mean, you sort of have the same issues even with Pat Mahomes at the Chiefs. Like, you just don't know exactly where it's going in the wide receiver room. There's just a bigger pie, at least. So you feel like there's a bit better baseline for the wide receivers at the Chiefs than there is.
I think it's coaching as well, because the Ravens coaching staff hasn't given me much confidence as well with that team. It's been tough.
No,
That's it. Speaking of tough, kicked one right in the knocks last week. My Cox had chicken pox, as it was 2 for 17 with Dawson Knox up against the Lions. I thought that would have been a better situation. I sent out a meme. Sorry, Dr. GoodCall sent out a meme, of course, that basically had Stephon Diggs on a milk carton halfway through the third quarter, and that's the number one target. He just wasn't finding anyone that I thought he was going to. And then all of a sudden, Diggs got going in the fourth, but it just meant that there was just nothing there for Noxkowski. He just didn't really get going at all. 2 for 17. I thought it would have been a better situation against Detroit, especially in a game where they weren't miles in front either. So it's not like they all of a sudden started running. And there was a lot of passing from Josh Allen. So, yeah, it's just a bit of a tough week for Knox. So, again, it's just the tight end position. It's sort of hard to pick.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the big problem with it, isn't it, though? It's the position that's the problem, not Knox.
Not the analysis either, of course.
Of course not.
Yeah.
No one's ever blamed Dr. GoodCall. What a man he is. So studly.
Loose ends everywhere last week, though. Fucking hell.
Let's move forward. I mean, I'll move forward. I won't bring up fantasy aids play because I'll bring him up when I sort of forecast because it was obviously a 2-week play.
There's a reason, yeah.
Look, Matty's just going to be the Randy Marsh meme after I bring this up, but it's Trevor Lawrence at quarterback for Dr. GoodCall this week up against Detroit, who are, let's count it, first, second, third, no, 32nd against quarterback this year. How many teams are there? Apparently there's 32.
16.
So that is last. That is dead last. No one behind them. So it's going to be a pretty good week for Lawrence again. Like we've talked about, it was an amazing drive to beat the Ravens last week. And I just think they got a lot of confidence out of that. And I know we all sort of picked a bit of a Lawrence second-year breakout or breakout for him. And I just think this could happen late in the year. So I think there's a good chance that moving forward, he's going to be a very good play. And up against Detroit, who are last against quarterbacks, a pretty good situation for him. So, yeah, there's not really much else to say here. I just think he's going to be able to throw a lot and they're going to be able to move the ball very easily on this team. And generally, the Lions keep up at home. They score a lot themselves. So I think this could be a high-scoring game.
Be interesting to see how often Trevor comes up in these next few weeks too, because we get the Titans twice, who definitely don't have a secondary you want to talk much about, and just there's some nice little matchups. And he actually really looked the part. He looked grown up. So I would just be interested to see how often he comes up. Sorry, Manja, I think you were going to say something too.
Oh yeah, I was saying that's a good pick. We mentioned it earlier in pastries that this could be a very high-scoring matchup. I'm excited. I'm excited to see Trevor this week. I know Ian's excited picking him up in content team as well. Yeah. So, yeah, I know at least someone's excited on the podcast I do for this one.
You better not shit the bed now. We've all talked him up, 3 of us. We're all just here singing like a barbershop trio. You better not shit the bed now.
The hope is in like 1 to 2 weeks, he might just finally be out of this segment. That's really what he's got to strive for. He's been just an absolute staple of starts of the week and Dr. GoodCall because he just hasn't really worked his way out. But he's had a lot of good matchups there. I think this could be the next couple of weeks. This could be where he could really break properly into that top 10 and stay there. So let's hope fingers crossed for all Jags fans like Matthew over here, that he plays well enough that he's not really a streamer anymore.
I've
He
got a
calls him
question about.
Matthew, though.
Yeah,
I've never heard anyone call you Matthew, Maddie.
just my mother. Hi, Mum. She's not watching. She'll be so ashamed of this show.
I felt like
Yeah,
bringing it
sure,
out one
right.
time. Didn't
One
like it.
time.
Probably won't do it ever again. All right. So
Feel free.
running back. And there is so much unknown at the running back position this week. It's absolutely disgusting. Who the hell is the starter at the Steelers, Jags, or Jets this week?
Nobody
I have absolutely no
knows.
idea. It's a really weird decision. Like a lot of all the waiver claims and things like that are going to be like taking shots at a lot of those teams, but you really have no idea. So I didn't really like taking any of those pieces because all it would take is one person not to be out or one person's injury not to be as serious as they thought, and then all of a sudden you're sitting there with the third string running back on a team. So I didn't really take a shot at any of those. So for anyone that's listening going, oh, why didn't you take Bam or who was on a practice squad last week? Or
Bam
Benny
Knight, by the way. What
Benny
a great
Snell.
name.
Benny
Yeah.
Snell, who's
Benny
very
Snell.
smelly. I'm going to just take AJ Dillon. I'm going to him up against the Bears, who are 25th against running back. And I just saw a lot more out of him again last week. And there's actually been a little bit of optimism in a really, really tough year for him. Getting that long touchdown was amazing for him last week. And I just think he only gets a worse a team at defending the run this week. That Bears defense is atrocious. We don't know if it's Jordan Love or Rodgers. That's another situation we're not 100% sure about. But in general, I just think they're going to run the ball a lot either way. And I think AJ Dillon will get more involved, even if it's only 9 or 10 carries. I think he could turn that into a pretty decent fantasy day.
Yeah, man. John, what do you think about that? He has had a bit of a quiet run of it lately. And I've been almost ready to do a victory dance on the Kareem Hunt, AJ Dillon conversation from our preseason. If only Kareem Hunt hadn't also been atrocious in recent times, which Taylor reminded me of when I brought it up. But Jeff, wasn't for this week. I'm not sure AJ Dillon had been terrific lately. What do you make of it, man, John?
Yeah, AJ Dillon. I have him in a dynasty league, so I've been starting him here and there. Been waiting for Jones to just get off the Packers so that Dillon can actually get a free run. But Jones has been taking so much of the work that I think it's a bit hard to trust Dillon at this point. With the Packers, they're just feeding Jones as much, but Dillon still gets a little bit of work. I think the thing is they need to use him more in the goal line situations and just basically get to those goal line situations, which is rough for the Packers this year. Kind of enjoying it, to be honest. Not gonna lie. Yeah, not gonna lie. Enjoying the Packers downfall a little bit. We can take credit for it too, the Niners, for that playoff win. Just started this entire downfall. So, but anyway, like, just not trying to shit on the Packers too much, but they don't get down there in the goal line situations at all. So I think, when watching them, I think Dillon doesn't have enough opportunities to be a good fantasy player because he doesn't get any of those goal line touches, I guess you could say. And even then, when they get down there, Jones gets the touches too. So there you go.
It's a mess. But if he's been showing a little bit of life lately, heck, I would rather try and roll with him than, as Taylor said, Manshot and I, there's no secret why we're 16th in the Astro League. We are relying on Jay Robinson, Travis Etienne. Who else we got there? We got Alexander Madison. Like it's a clown car of shit. And we're supposed to pick through that and try and work out who to start this week.
That's bad.
There's no surprise we're 16th.
It's bad. It's getting bad there, Matty.
We had a glimmer of life from Mooney. Now he's dead. Anyway, I could go on.
Yeah, it's bread surge bread at the moment at the running back position. Let's move on to something a little bit more fun, and I'm going to take Zay Jones with the Trevor, and stack that bitch up, baby. What an unbelievable game he had last week. 14 targets. I think it was 11 catches, 140-odd yards. He led the league in receiving yards last week. He's just been very consistent this year in general. Like, he just hasn't got a lot of touchdowns. That's been the issue. A lot of it's from Kirk. But he's been very consistent. He's kind of almost been like a Donovan Peoples-Jones, like over at the Browns. Like they've both been very consistent without anyone really noticing them in fantasy. And I think it's going to change. I think he's going to have a really good finish to the year, and obviously up against Detroit this week. It's another phenomenal position for him to be in.
Oh, you got the stack. You got the stack going.
Yeah.
The stack, baby. They're 30th against wide receiver, which is not surprising considering they're last against quarterbacks. So I think it's a pretty good stack to have this week. I can see him getting hyper-targeted again, a target sponge, if you will. And great situation for Yay Jones this week.
Yay. Hey, I picked him up this week in content team. He's starting with my first flex slot above Tyler Lockett in my second flex. So, I'm excited for this one. I was very excited when I heard the words. I just had to double check. I actually got that claim processed with Zay Jones. So I'm very excited. The claim got processed. Darnell Mooney, RIP to him this season. He's been a valuable soldier for about 2 weeks in that team. But we're picking up Zay Jones to take him. Hopefully, we can beat Talor in the playoffs and Zay Jones.
Imagine that. Imagine if that happened. Goodness.
Yeah.
You got to do some manifesting, man. That's not going to happen easily.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. But look, my team's still projected to have a ton of points. I'm excited. I'm excited for this week. Still excited for the playoffs. My team's like the third highest scoring team in the league, or the second highest scoring in that league. So, I'm actually pretty excited. I'm pretty excited for this team to just do its job. Hopefully, get in the playoffs, get that first round bye, and then, just carry on and win the championship.
You just got to make sure you stay on the opposite side of the draw to Talor, though, because that's the grand final. They want the Aussie NFL fantasy show final.
Yeah, at this point, I am on the opposite side of the draw.
Yeah, just go stay there.
First and second. Yeah.
Don't come forth.
Yeah, don't come forth. That's what they said.
That's what they say. So they say, don't come forth.
Yeah, I don't know who's got the highest scoring points in that league, but I heard he's really handsome and just a great guy.
Yeah,
so
Matty C? Is it Matty C?
No, it's not.
Is it Matthew Connor? Is it Matthew?
Well, I already said, mate. I tried that out. Didn't like it. It's been thrown in the bin.
Okay.
All right, tight end this week.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, look, exactly. That's pretty much the reaction I expected. But look, I'm going to take someone paired with the White Lotus. I'm going to take Tyler Conklin up against the Vikings, 22nd against tight end. Mike White has just reinvigorated this team. I just think in general, like, you got to give a bit of a bump to anyone that's in the pass catching situation there at the Jets, just because you've just got a bit more confidence that there's going to be more than 77 yards thrown. So Tyler Conklin last week, even though the team, was way better in the passing game, he was 3 for 50, which again isn't bad in the tight end position. You'd probably take it. I just think there's an opportunity here against the Vikings. He might be a little bit more involved. They might throw a little bit more at Garrett Wilson. So I just think he's down for a good baseline. And if Mike White's throwing for over 200 yards, you've just got a far better baseline for a guy like Conklin that you probably had before.
I like this. Conklin could be pretty good.
Conk.
Yeah, Conk. He sounds like a guy could be good.
I love it. Yeah, look, I had a crack at taking Tyler Conklin as a start to the week earlier in the year too, and he was okay, I guess.
That's what you need.
And you know what? Sometimes that's how you measure success.
He didn't destroy my team and burn it to the ground. That's all that matters.
No, I destroyed my team and burned it to the ground, but it wasn't Conk's fault. Yeah, 100%. He was a positive contributor. You ever seen a player play well on a really badly losing team? That was Conklin. So, yeah, anyhow.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, good luck with that. Good luck.
I'll go to fantasy aids. So,
Yes.
basically, I did the 2-week play for Saquon. Once again, like, it's just been the story of my year going a lot of these running backs. Saquon, I took on, a very big player this year. He had 52 total yards in passing and rushing. Seemed like an absolute win for me. but in full PPR, still goes out and gets 15.2 because he dives over for a 1 fucking yarder because Slayton got pulled up about a fucking bee's dick away from the line. So Saquon just falls over the line and then has 4 catches for 17 yards, which gets him 4.7 points in PPR. Unbelievable. I'm still got 9.8 points up my sleeve. Look, up against that Washington defense, I still think it's a chance. But in the end, I'm not really too displeased with my call because Saquon definitely didn't go out there and dominate. So, look, again, he didn't have a shit week, but I'm pretty happy with the fact that he only had 52 yards.
Yeah. We talked about this a few times too. Sometimes the analysis is right, even if the result isn't right.
Just sucks balls. And look, it's starting to make me wonder if I should just start looking at a quarterback or a wide receiver because it is really, really annoying when you get it so right and they just dive over because there's a fucking pass interference in the end zone and then they just land on the 1 yard line and just fall over the line, basically trip over themselves and get a touchdown. And you're like, I did nothing wrong here with my analysis and I'm still wrong.
No, and they vulture this 1 yarder from someone just getting their knee down a bee's dick before the ball breaks the plane, or from a pass interference penalty in the end zone where it should have been a touchdown, except somebody just assaulted the receiver. So now you get a 1 yard rush from a quarterback or a running back. And I think you've done a really admirable job of picking from a position where that's the risk. And you've been really right about all the analysis. And then these touchdowns have been the bane. So, potentially shifting to a different position, you might actually find the result gets better. But I don't know that you could do much better with the analysis. I'm giving you a pretty hard pass on this because I think when it comes to the analysis part of it, bang on. The points is the problem. That it's just the points.
Saquon
that's how we score fantasy. Yeah.
Saquon shot himself. That's more like it. Anyway, that's it for Dr. Call for the week. Good luck to everyone.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one because, you've got so little room for latitude to get the 25-point arbitrary boundary in there. But I think if you can see Saquon come in with around that 10 points on the week, people will be really happy with how you've called that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's an admirable call.
Even if it falls over 25 by whatever, if you're saying the guy's a monster, he was running back 1 or 2 only a few weeks ago, his decline is on, and now I'm calling it as bumper weeks in a row of just total shit sandwich, and then he pretty well does. I think you should be celebrating that. So
100%.
And I would bust your chops generally, right?
Absolutely. The fact that you're giving me any praise should speak volumes.
Yes, exactly. Usually I will take any chance to be like, you were wrong by 0.01 of a point. Fuck you.
Eat a dick.
Taste it. That's what we've been saying in the chat today as well. Anytime something went a little bit wrong, one person is the other. Yeah, taste it. So that
taste it, man, Jot, about that regular season loss for Mass.
God damn it! God, right up yours, Tennessee.
Right up yours. Yes.
I'm going to quote Karras. I'm sorry, Taylor. I usually like the Titans, but this time I got quoted, man. It was just too good not to quote.
I almost said in the pastries before, like, honestly, good on anyone from the Bengals doing that because they've sort of taken the Titans' lunch money 2 years in a row in Tennessee. So good on them. Like, until Tennessee go and beat them, they can say whatever shit they want.
Yeah, 100%.
Took the Titans' lunch money in Tennessee. I love that. What a great saying.
2 times in a row. It wasn't even McPherson this time.
Yeah.
I mean, technically it was because he kicked the field goal, but it wasn't him. It felt like he dominated.
4-point win, not a 3-point win. Yeah. Yeah, Paul McPherson. He has been sort of disappeared this year. He's McGone. And I think missing Chase has really hurt that offense and their ability to get into scoring positions. And then to not have him and Mixon and go to Tennessee and win. Yeah, it really does make it a pretty impressive win.
Absolutely.
This is why, the NFL should totally do this. Manjot and I were saying this at the pastries too, is instead of just relying on just record and head-to-head wins, no. Who did you beat? How did you beat them? Who were you missing? Like, let's go quality win.
Like college.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that'd be fun if we just got
That's what I'm doing this week with my extra power rankings.
A committee to do it. Yeah, 100%. Because 7-5 might not be 7-5, really, depending on who you played. Vikings.
Oh no.
Eagles.
Right, Ian.
Oh no.
I'm coming after you, Ian.
Don't you dare, Matty. No, too much going on there, mate. Too much.
Yeah, I mean, they did beat the Patriots. They smashed the Patriots at home on Thanksgiving on a short week. Yeah, so, really impressive. It's probably time we gave Kirk Cousins credit for winning in primetime as well. So how about that?
Yeah.
Did anyone do that? I didn't.
Oh shoot, that should have been a pastry. Damn it. I knew I was missing a pastry from that game. I went through all the other games pretty much and I missed that one.
The winning in primetime award.
Let's not roast the Vikings. They just signed Goggles to the practice squad.
Oh, so, Goggles!
Yeah,
Goggles
he's out there. So don't.
I'm gonna order my jersey. Actually, let's finish this segment so I can order my jersey.
Yeah, fair enough.
My goggles, my purple goggles.
Yeah, Dr GoodCall prescribed to goggles.
100%, yeah.
Prescription.
Get the credit card ready.
Yeah,
100%. Been giving that baby a workout with everywhere that Goggles signs. It's costing me a few bucks, mate. A few of my hard-earned pieces of 8.
Grab a Horace Grant jersey while you're at it.
Yes. Oh, I love Horace Grant. All right, so quick recap. We've got Trevor at Detroit stuck that bitch up too with Yay Jones as they both play Detroit. AJ Dillon, who's been a little bit up and down, but all of a sudden has some momentum against Chicago. And then let's wrap it up with Conk against the Titans. We love a bit of Tyler Conklin.
Conk.
Of course. Saquon Barkley. AIDS all week last week, except for that touchdown. Let's not talk about the touchdown. And then also this week against the Commanders. We think that it's going to be a tough out for him. And, mate, I'll be really impressed if you pull that one off. I really will. There's not much that you do that impresses me, mate, but that will impress me.
That really didn't go the way I thought it would.
I don't impress me much. Yeah, right. Shania Twain. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, man.
We're marching towards 11 at night, and I'm singing Shania Twain to other grown men. Yeah, that's where we're at. That's where this show has gotten to. It's no wonder it's the number one show for fantasy football in Australia, right?
Absolutely.
You stay for the Shania Twain. 100%. Now, third show of the week coming up is going to be a couple of fantasy games, and we're going to wrap it all up with the start of the week, of course.
Like a fajita?
Yeah.
Like a fajita. But don't forget to go back and catch the pastry show if you haven't caught it.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's wrap this one up so we can get into the fantasy games.
Yes, sir.
Do it.
This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
If you're saying start Josh Allen, then we're probably going to clobber you.
It's going to be tough because I'm going away from what the winning formula was from last week.
Well, the problem is that could happen against Detroit as well. But
Aussie.
That was just taking a shot at the Titans for signing the ghost of Adrian Peterson.
NFL.
And I don't like to foreskin, as we know, but that person might come up later.
Got to troll a few people. Well, some people were trolling me first about Niners big frauds and now Eagles fans. Only comeback they had, I was Australian.
Fantasy.
It's not like you picked up like Patty Mahomes or something. You were getting Daddy Dimes.
And I was getting a third tight end.
This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
What do you play at a funeral? Just some sort of like sad tune?